of years later, he comes back to town, and then the ladies are holding the handkerchief saying, I remember you. That's the gist of this wonderful fun song. It's called Mauna Loa. Well, anyway, you saw two lovely aunties come to the stage. You know, in our culture, if someone says to you, Auntie, may I help you? Or Uncle, do you need a hand? Know that we're not trying to be related to you, although we may be. But really, it is a sentiment of aloha and respect. And our two dear aunties on stage, well, they command my respect, of course, and I'll share a little bit about them. Our two aunties have given us much to Luau for many years, contributing to this art that we love and cherish in Hawaii. The auntie closest to me is Auntie Aloha Lani Jones. Auntie Aloha Lani, well, she celebrates 6 generations of hula in her family, a legacy, a practice that is an art passed down. Started with her grandmother, Auntie Rose Joshua, who's recognized as a hula master in Hawaii, and then passed to her daughters. And one of her daughters, Auntie Blossom Punema, was Auntie's mother, passed down to their daughters, passed down to their children, down to the grandchildren, and Auntie celebrates this legacy, the 6th generation with 3 great-grandchildren in the art of hula. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Auntie Aloha Lani Jones. Next to her is one of Hawaii's few remaining pure Hawaiians. This month marks her 50th anniversary since she has uniki, graduated with formal traditional ceremony to become recognized as a punahula. This month, 50 years. Wow. And this is, by the way, Auntie Lahela Kaihua. Auntie Lahela has given to hula even longer than those 50 years. She's become a treasure for us, as well as a master in her art of hula. She just returned from judging a hula competition in Japan and providing workshops, which she's in great demand for, to include judging the World Olympics of Hula called the Marimana Hula Festival. This is our Auntie Lahela Kaihua. Our two aunties will take you on a stroll up the beach a bit to where today stands the Honolulu Zoo. Before days, it was a place where lovers would row their little boats to an island. It was a waterway, and they would celebrate love and courtship. Here is Maki Ailana, or Maki Island. Uh-oh, Auntie Aloha Lani's up first. Women, hang on to your man. There she goes. Ladies and gentlemen, Auntie Aloha Lani. She says, Maki Island, for which I have much love and aloha. It is a land situated in the spray of the sea. And ladies and gentlemen, our Auntie Lahela. She says there were 2 of us. No, 3. Chaperone had to tend to the young ladies in those days. We remained together on the island and enjoyed the day as it gleefully passed. One of Auntie's fond memories was the bubbling, percolating water of the springs around her. They served as commands, causing shivers for us. Auntie says, if only you would join me once again, my loved one, the 2 of us would sit on the swinging bench was located on the island and enjoy the day together. Well, chaperone we come to the end of our story and to the end of our song with this line. The refrain is told. For Monkey Island causes my mind and heart to flutter. Our lovely aunties, Auntie Alohalani and Auntie Lahela, sharing a little peek in their times of youth and times of love. The living legacy of Fula with our two aunties. Look on, Auntie, I think you got a couple of boyfriends going home with you tonight. You know, they set the tone for love, and love comes in so many ways. Sometimes it's a song, sometimes it's a poem. There are haunting sounds that come from our instruments in Hawaii. One that is so synonymous to Hawaii is the hika, or steel guitar. And a lot of folks don't know. Yes, we didn't invent the guitar, but a young Hawaiian man by the name of Joseph Kekupu is credited for inventing the steel guitar. It is said that while a student at Kamehameha schools, combing his hair, holding his comb, one story says the comb fell, the other story says he dragged it across the fretboard and found this sound. Okay. Let's try that, Casey. Dragged it across the fretboard and created this sound. There we go. And then it just started a new legacy of instrumentation called the steel guitar. We're so lucky that our show brings to you one of the masters of steel. And he's been in the, I would say, the family of steel guitar players for well over 40 years. Even as a young musician. Of course, why not? His grandfather was one of the great masters of steel, Billy Hugh. One that folks that you could drop his name and they would still know. A legend. And then his father was Hiram Olsen. And Hiram is a living legend himself. A famous guitar player, singer. And then now you have, of course, their son and grandson, Casey, who has taken to this instrument for many years. First featured as a haumana as a child. I guess you were an older child at that time, right? In 1984, with Andy Bumatai's special. And here he is today on our show. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure and honor to introduce to you one of Hawaii's master of steel. This is Casey Olsen. steel guitar, Kika Kila, Casey Olsen. The beautiful thing about the steel is it's gone around the world. Again, invented here in Hawaii, made famous probably not only in Hawaii but in Tennessee. And you hear it even on Merry Melodies. You remember those cartoons, Merry Melodies? With the somewhere Porky Pig and all of those type of things. Well, that's still, you hear there are two gentlemen from Hawaii, and we celebrate that art. Speaking of celebrate, we're going to celebrate now the dormant volcano behind me. Notice I said dormant and not extinct, right? But I think we're all good. Anyway, of course it's called Diamond Head. Its traditional Hawaiian name is Le'ahi. Le'ahi means the brow of the ahi fish or the yellowfin tuna. And that's a profile Hawaiian song. And this song, Kai Manahila, celebrates that name that we gave it, Diamond Head, because olivine crystals were found at its base. And they thought it was the diamonds. Diamond Hill, transliterated into Hawaiian, is Kai Manahila. Here's Ha'aheo Kai Manahila.
Ha'aheo Kai Manahila, Ika hale kukuhi, Mukila kila ha'ikuna, Iki aino kamoana.
So proudly does Diamond Head stand with its lighthouse, so majestic as a guardian of the ocean. As for the waves that caress the shore and carry the scent of the liquor seaweed, it rises like a cumulus cloud and becomes an adornment for us. The visitors proudly proclaim when they see your beauty, Diamond Head. For your name is heard in the farthest reaches of the world. Thus the refrain is told, for Le'ahi is the name of Diamond Head. So famous is your name. It is known in the farthest reaches of the world. Our handsome Kane, our lovely Wahine, and our talented musicians with Ha'aheo Kai Manahila. The musicians will take us into our next break, from which when we return, we will have our formal show. Sit back and enjoy your desserts. Aloha.
And some more, let me have some Romeha. Gather around, and you take the road, being a mama, and you too, being a mona and a beer. Gather around, what you love, come on with you, the mama is so good too. Mama, me and me, love the day, chicken in the back of the loa. Ooh, the bird is jack for you. God, never need this too. In the true Hawaiian style, yeah. And some more, and you have some good holiday. You're around, and it takes a little bit. In a mama, little too. In a mona and a beer. You're around, what you love, one with you. is so unique. All of the energies of the gift, singing in the light of the moment. With girlies dance for you. I'm never in this too. In the true Hawaiian style. There do I know you're at a new
Our story begins in the 1500s. The king of the island Kakuhihewa was celebrating the harvest season we call Makahiki. We're celebrating right here on these grounds as we continue to do even in 2023. While he was doing so, along flew a rooster from the uplands of Palolo, landing at his feet, and in a most defiant way, this larger-than-life rooster began to scratch the ground. Well, the king saw this as a positive omen, and as quickly as that rooster landed, it flew away. The chief, recognizing this positive omen, decided to name the place Helumoa, which means chicken scratch. And he ordered his warriors to plant a coconut tree right on the spot where that chicken scratched. That tree grew tall and straight and eventually out into a large coconut grove that could still be seen here in the 1930s. These few trees that remain are the descendants of the original trees. We present to you the story of the naming of this place, Helumoa. The story of the naming of this place, Helumoa. We now take you to the latter part of the 1700s. A chief who already defeated the neighboring districts on his birth island of Hawaii, now in 1792 moves to the island of Maui, where a bloody battle ensued. This bloody battle was named Ke Vai, or the damming of the river. For it is said that so many warriors died in battle that their bodies blocked the flow of the river. This chief was victorious in this battle, bringing the islands of Maui, Molokai, Lanai, and Kaho'olawe under his control. He set his eyes on this island of Oahu and landed 10,000 bronze warriors on these beaches before us. From that side of Diamond Head called Ka'alawai, all the way to Ko, today known as Honolulu Harbor. He was victorious in another battle on this island that brought to him the ownership of Oahu. He now looks to the far-off islands of Kauai and Ni'ihau. But this time, peaceful negotiations transpired. And in 1810, this chief becomes the king of the newly formed kingdom called Hawaii. He was known by many names. Ka'iwa Kilomoku, the evil bird that snatches the islands. Kana'io Puri, the conqueror of nations. Kana'apuli Rokabaki, being the Napoleon of the Pacific. But friends, you may know him better by his more familiar name to us. We present to you the chief, the legend, King Kamehameha the Great. The legend, King Kamehameha the Great, the founder of the Hawaiian Kingdom. King Kamehameha passed away on May 8, 1819. He was succeeded by his sons, Kamehameha the second and third, and then his grandsons Kamehameha the fourth and fifth. Kamehameha the fifth passed away on his birthday without naming an heir. Thus, an election was held from the Hawaiian Kingdom legislature, and they have chose among the highest ranking of Ali. This time they picked a cousin, William Charles Lunalilo, who sadly passed away 13 months after becoming king. Another election was held, and this time they elected High Chief and now King, His Majesty, King David Lamea Kalakaua. King Kalakaua was an innovative king. He was an inventor that held many patents in his name. He called among his friends Thomas Edison and Alexander Graham Bell, and for this reason the king saw to it that the Iolani Palace was first to have electricity and telephone even before the White House and Buckingham Palace. Our king was a noted composer composing Hawaii's national anthem, today, of course, Hawaii's state anthem. Served as an adjutant general of the Hawaiian Kingdom, His Majesty, ladies and gentlemen, King David Lamea Mahinulani Kalakaua. His beloved wife was the last king of Kauai's granddaughter. Her name, Queen Julia Napila Kapuokaka, Queen Kapiolani. Queen Kapiolani was a noted composer just like her husband. In fact, the song that you hear in the background is a song she composed for her husband. She composed it in 1890 when he left Hawaii for respite care in San Francisco. And sadly, the king never got to hear this song. He passed away in San Francisco, never hearing this love poem by his beloved wife. And you know, she was also a patroness of Hawaiian language, ordering that Hawaiian be spoken in the courts of the king and queen, and also a patroness for women and children, establishing the Queen Kapiolani Women's and Children's Medical Center, which still stands proudly to this day. Ladies and gentlemen, Her Majesty Queen Kapiolani. One of the most beloved Ali royalty, Her Royal Highness Princess Ruth Ke'elikolani. Princess Ruth was one of the most wealthiest of the Ali at the time. She was the great-granddaughter of King Kamehameha the Great, earning many of his lands. And then she was a contemporary of King Kalakaua. Our princess, just like the queen, was noted for her support of Hawaiian language. She refused to speak English even though she could. But she was loved by her people. You see, when they had times of struggle, they would look to this princess for help. It is said in 1881, when the volcano Mauna Loa was threatening the town of Hilo, they called on their princess for help. The princess went up to the flow of the lava. It is said she offered chants and prayers and then lied down in its bath. When she woke the next morning, the lava had stopped a feet from her. She returned home with no fanfare, but much love and aloha from her people. Ladies and gentlemen, Her Royal Highness, Princess Ruth Ke'elikolani. Her godson and the younger brother of the prince, thus the heir apparent, is William Pitt Leleohoku II. William Pitt Leleohoku II, High Chief, and His Royal Highness, as you can see, dons the militia uniform of the Kingdom of Hawaii, and always ready to respond to a call of duty, but was known also for his wonderful poetry. Now you should know that the king and his siblings would often hold competitions of composition, and they would compete against each other. And it is said that this younger brother of theirs would win the competitions when it came to love songs. In fact, one of his most famous songs is, well, it's called the Hawaiian War Chant, but it's really not a war chant, but a chant of love. Always ready to respond to a call of duty, but would never become king, for sadly passed away at the age of 23. His Royal Highness, William Pitt Leleohoku II. The niece of the king was the hope in the future of the Hawaiian kingdom. Her name is Princess Victoria Ka'iulani. She was the daughter of the king's sister, Princess Nikelike. And in order to prepare our princess to become queen one day, she was sent away at one of her uncle's study abroad program. Now, he was the first world leader to establish a study abroad program. And he did so sending his 12-year-old niece to England to learn the mores of ruling a kingdom. And while she was there for many years, she received two sad telegrams. The first in January of 1891, telling her of the passing of her favorite uncle, the king. And then the second, almost to the day, 2 years later, ordering her to return home as a common citizen, for the Hawaiian kingdom was no more. What do you think she did? She was only 16 years of age when she received that telegram. Tell you what she did, she booked passage to New York City. From there, she would go on to Washington, D.C. to plead before Washington and Congress to ask them not to take over her humble nation. Her pleas fell on deaf ears. Our princess remained with her father in the United States and England for a little while in exile, but eventually returned home to only pass away also at the age of 23. Princess Victoria Ka'iulani. The last reigning monarch of the Hawaiian Kingdom, Her Majesty, Queen Lydia Lili'ulokuholania Kamakaeha, Queen Lili'uokalani. Her Majesty only serving 2 years as the monarch from 1891 to 1893, she really remained the queen in the hearts of her people until her passing on November 11, 1917. Even when her service was done as queen officially, she continued helping her people. In 1909, she established a trust called the Lili'uokalani Trust that would take care of orphan and indigent children of Native Hawaiian ancestry. This trust still thrives to this day thanks to the wisdom of our beloved queen. One of Hawaii's most prominent composers, she composed between 300 and 400 songs. Our favorite, of course, is Aloha Oe. Ladies and gentlemen, Her Majesty, Queen Lili'uokalani. And as a special tribute, the king's dancers, the court dancers, have come to the stage to share two songs about the king. This is a drinking song that he composed for such festive occasions. Cheers. These are his words. He said, I throb for that water, that chilly water, that cheapy water known as gin. Now you know what he liked to drink, was a great compass for us all. Cheers. Well, we bid aloha to our court judges, and with that, we bid aloha to their majesties. They have another event to which they must attend. And you know, as they depart the stage, I'll tell you a little bit more about the king and queen. You know, they were the first world leaders to circumnavigate the globe. In 1881, they took a trip. They traveled through the Americas, through Europe, Asia, and even the Pacific, a whole year. Of course, building relationships, signing treaties, giving awards, receiving awards. And the king and queen were no strangers to travel. You see, in 1874, just 5 years after the Transcontinental Railway was built, the king traveled across the United States and he visited President Ulysses S. Grant. He was invited to the very first state dinner ever held in the White House. And our queen traveled extensively through Europe and, of course, the Pacific. But you know, the king and queen, whenever they traveled, they took a large contingency with them that included the Royal Guard. They could often be heard boasting about the excellence of the Royal Guard. Why, you might ask? Let's ask them for a little demonstration. Ladies and gentlemen, the Royal Guard. The Royal Guard. Royal Guard. As the guard exits, you'll notice that they execute their commands in Ololo Hawaii Hawaiian language, as they have for over 150 years. Once again, the Royal Guard. Now, I bet all of you are excited to try that art that is made for those beautiful waves out there. We call it he'enalu, you call it surfing. We invented it here for all of you to enjoy. Now, if you want to learn how to surf, we got some talented beach boys that will come forward to teach you this art. Here's a song written by my grand aunt, Irmgard Farndinoluli, and her dear friend, Dr. Mary Kawena Kukui. A song called Na Hoi He'enalu, my surfing friends. Walalai calls out to his friends and says, come on friends, join me as I go out there to enjoy the day surfing. Out there we'll have a lot of fun with our favorite sport. The Kilo jumps in and says, let's check out the rise and the fall of the waves. We'll paddle out to our favorite place where we'll enjoy the day surfing away. Now Kekoa, well, he says to them, take care of your surfboards. Hold on tight or they might slip out of your hands. Hold on and enjoy your day surfing the waves. Now, Keely's another story. He's distracted by the beautiful ladies, the beautiful maidens on the beach. Will he heed to his friend's call? Looks like he did. Joining them on the waves, they stand proudly on the waves. They glide like the evil birds, gliding to the crest of the waves. Thus the refrain is told, for my surfing buddies. We glide like the evil birds until it is time to return to the land. Royal Hawaiian Hotel Now we'll hit another with the Royal Hawaiian Hotel. You know, we celebrate this song, and I'm sure you guessed that it was written for this hotel, the Royal Hawaiian Hotel, that I mentioned to you on February 1st, 1927, opened. And the composer of the song, now one of the greatest gifts you could give someone is to compose a song for them. And in this case, the composer, Mary Kiliokayoka Amunupai Pula'a Robbins, yes, that was her whole name. She composed this song as a gift to the hotel. And one of the most common questions we always get is, why is this hotel pink? So I get to tell that story to you all right now. The person who was in charge of constructing the hotel, his name was Mr. Roth. And Mr. Roth was building the hotel between 1925 and 27, and completed in 27, to welcome the visitors came in on the Matson shipping lines. I should mention that Mr. Roth was married to Mr. Matson's daughter, Erlene, and we'll figure that connection. And, well, he had two friends who lived on the beach a bit. Their name was Kibo and Kina Uwalder. And they often strolled hand in hand on this beach. And one evening they caught Mr. Roth working late, and they said, hey, Mr. Roth, we have an idea. When you've completed this hotel, you should paint it coral pink. And he said, why on earth would I do that? They said, oh, one of our favorite places to travel to is Portugal. And when we are docking, we look at the beautifully painted buildings on the sea cliffs, and they really stand out. And we think your hotel will stand out too. Well, Mr. Roth liked the idea. And ever since then, this has been known as the Pink Palace of the Pacific. So imagine for yourself a beautiful, cool evening like tonight. Two lovers on the beach, Kibo and Kina Wilder, sharing their sentiments of love.
That's where I met
It all started with just one dance. That sweet, haunting romance in my memories. I will always dwell here at the Royal Hawaiian Hotel. At the Royal Hawaiian Hotel. My sweet gardenia lane, you gave to me upon the moonlit night here at Waikik. A lover's melody was playing just for two. Flower scented night when I found you. Fondest memories of you are here, haunting me now. Your faint perfume I cannot forget till you return to me again someday. Bring me a song and my sweet gardenia lane. Fondest memories of you are here, haunting me now. Your faint perfume I cannot forget till you return to me again someday. Bringing me a song and my sweet gardenia lane. Bringing me a song and my sweet gardenia lane.
The magical voice of Kelly Leolani and the hula stylings of the lovely Maluhia, sharing their sentiments of aloha. I want to send that last song out to our friends here from Texas. A special lady left us in September of last year, Momo, and today would have been her birthday. And I think 8 of you are her children here celebrating and their family. So thank you for being with us, and God's aloha to you. Well, this beautiful hotel opens, the grand showroom opens, and it's called the Monarch Room. And the greatest performing acts of Hawaii came through those doors. Some great orchestras like the Harry Owens Orchestra that brought us songs like Sweet Leilani, the Brothers Casimiro, Marlene Tsai, some greats. I always like to share too, even my grandmother spent a little time there. She was a solo dancer from 1935 to 1937. And then World War II broke out on December 7th, 1941 for us here in Hawaii. This hotel was transformed to become an ambassador of aloha, sharing that gift of aloha with our soldier and sailor friends before we had to send them out to war's front. While the rest of the world was listening to songs like Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy from Company B, or, well, doing dances like the Jitterbug, we also were in Hawaii, but we added a special flavor, and that was called Ho'omanawanui. Ho'omanawanui means take it easy.
Chicago Bay. He had a boogie sound that no one else could play. He was a clever man at his craft, but that is not for him. And he was gone with draft. He's in the army now, but blowing heavily. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. He made a blowing bugle for his Uncle Sam. He really brought him down because he could not jam. The captain seemed to understand, because the next time a cap went down and dropped to the band, and now the company jumps when he plays heavily. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. A tootly-eyed, he goes straight to the bar. He boogie rhythm, can't blow a note unless the bass guitar is playing with him. And the company jumps and he plays heavily. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. He was Company B. When he goes on the boogie bugle, he was busy as a busy. When he played the company jumping to the bar, he's a boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. He goes into the bar. He can't blow a note unless the bass guitar is in with him. And the company jumps and he plays heavily. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. He puts a sleep boogie every night. Wakes him up the same way in the early ride. They grab their hands and stamp their feet, 'cause they know how it goes when someone gets to the beat. Oh, oh, he breaks it up when he plays readily. The boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. A dirty attitude he blows it to the bar. Can't blow a note unless the bass guitar doesn't blow in. And the country jumps and he plays heavily. He is a boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B.
Take it easy, all the while singing and dancing, a little romancing as the worries beat by mind. Oh, when I'm a new year, just for you, all the while, all the year, and the bottom right on the parties and money they play. Now the Hawaiian say my hope is, leading later sweet Hawaiian time, 'cause they know that simply rushing the life down in the day. I'll say, oh, when I'm a new year, take it easy, live life all the while, all the day and the bongos switches. So when I'm a new year, now Hawaiian say my hope is, leading later sweet Hawaiian time, 'cause they know that simply rushing the life down in the day. I'll say, oh, when I'm a new year, take it easy, live life all the while, all the day and the bongos switches. So when I'm a new year, oh, when I'm a new year, all day.
Oh, Manawanui. Ooh, I guess that's a good juicy word that I can share with you all, right? You all want to learn a nice long Hawaiian word? All right, so let's learn it together. In fact, it's so big that we'll trifurcate it. We'll cut it up, okay? So repeat after me. The first part is ho'o. Nice. That means to make something happen, to cause. All right. Next one is manawa. Manawa means time, a period of time. And the last one is nui. Nui means big or to extend. Okay. Now you put it all together. Ho'o manawa nui. Very good. That means take it easy. It's almost like saying relax. You know when that spirit of road rage comes over you after you're driving on the road and you're like, oh, just close your eyes. No, don't close your eyes. Just tell yourself, Ho'omanavani, 10 times, I promise you, the spirit of aloha will overtake you and you'll be right back and everything will be great. Hawaiian music became very popular throughout the world, probably around 1935, with shows that were recorded right from this beach here. It was called Hawaii Calls. And Hawaii Calls was a radio show that once broadcasted to over 750 radio stations throughout the world. Webley Edwards' producer was said to have gone down to the shoreline to record the waves lapping onto the shore so that wherever the people lived, they could live vicariously through the sounds of aloha. Well, let's enjoy that magical time of Hawaiian music and Kapahale songs, and especially Hawaii Calls.
Of my heart, baby, red hyacinth, I've admired you right from the start. Pretty red hibiscus, you're the flower of my heart. Every day that grows. Pretty red hibiscus, you're beautiful, and everyone knows. BriCLOGGER, my flower divine. BriCLOGGER, say you'll be mine. Won't you say you'll be mine? Oh, it's so plain to see that you would always be throughout eternity. BriCLOGGER, mine. My reveals sent through the day, enchanting moments with you makes me flowers are blooming all over, they are blooming all over Hawaii. They smell so sweet, they aren't very big, they'll thrill you through and through.
Once again, the talented voice of Keli'i Leolani and the hula stylings of the lovely Lady Maiden. I just love the sentiments of love through these songs. I'm sure by now you've realized that in Hawaii we celebrate legacy. I've told you a few examples even tonight. Legacy honored, sometimes gifts from our parents or even grandparents passed down, held and treasured. Our next performer is no exception to this. She is the granddaughter of the late and great Auntie Genoa Keawe. Auntie Genoa was, I always refer to as Hawaii State Auntie. Everything she did, whether she sang for you, she performed, or just spoke to you, she imbued aloha. And this gift she passed on of performing arts to her granddaughter. And not only did she get to learn from her grandmother, but she actually performed professionally with her for many years. And then the great thing about legacy is that it is shared and passed on even further. Our next performer shared this gift with her children, and they can perform as a family often now as they're growing up too. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you this evening the lovely and talented Pomaikai.
Aloha.
signature song, Alika. Well, we enjoy legacy. And as we mentioned already, the steel guitar was brought to us from another place. We took it modified. Sing for the instrument that she was playing. Do y'all know what that instrument is called? Ukulele. Everyone say ukulele. Yeah, some folks like to say ukulele, but nope, it's ukulele. One more time, ukulele. Nice. Now, the ukulele was brought by the Portuguese in about 1880s, and I say that we modified it and perhaps perfected it, and now it's well recognized as a Hawaiian instrument throughout the world. And we treasure these gifts that we have. And it's kind of like the culture of Waikiki from the 1950s and 60s. You could come to a show here at the Royal Hawaiian Hotel Monarch Grove and make your way up the beach a bit and enjoying all the shows, and you end up at a wonderful hot nightclub, a night spot called Puka Puka Hotel. And it's celebrated not only Hawaiian dances, but dances of the South Pacific. Rarotonga, Cook Island, Tahiti, and even the fire knife dancing of Samoa. Now, the thing was, people started to think that those dances were all Hawaiian. And we'd love to take credit for them, but they really belong to our cousins of the South Pacific, Tahiti, Samoa, Rarotonga. And, you know, the culture was just booming at that time. For the people really love to hear the drums of Tahiti. We still hear them. And then they like to hear and see the lovely ladies. Oh, I hear them and I see them. What a different culture Waikiki had in the 1950s and 60s. You know, the show was so exciting for folks. Not only was it flooded by visitors, but even the locals would flood this wonderful show, Pukapuka Hotel. Well, they had 3 shows a night, a 9:30 p.m., 11:30, and 1:30 a.m. show. But it's still early, so we have our ladies here. Let's invite them to the stage. Hi, everybody! The stage, dressed in their lovely array of colors, colors resembling, of course, the rainbows of Hawaii. Let's meet them one by one. First up is Kaina. And Kaina wears mele mele. Mele mele is the color for the island of Oahu. Next up, we met her as our hula soloist. This is Maluhia. Maluhia wears the color poni. Poni is the color for the island of Kauai. Next up is Kaipile, and she wears a blue that we call pulu. Pulu resembles the beautiful blue of the skies above. And next up is Kamalia. Kamalia wears the other blue. We call this one Uli Uli. Uli Uli is the blue of the depths of the ocean. Mahalo e Kamalia. And last up, wearing Akala. This is Kaiona Tayana. Akala is the color for everyone's favorite island, Maui. Lovely ladies of Pukapuka Hotel. Maruru maruri auto. Woo! That was a festive time in Hawaiian culture, sharing the culture of our cousins from Tahiti. We take you from the friendly islands of Tahiti to the happy islands of Samoa. In the traditional spirit of Ailau, the tradition, the rite of passage, known as Siva Afi. Siva, of course, meaning dance, and Afi, fire. And yes, I speak of the fire knife dance. This tradition, sometimes passed down from father to son, sometimes grandfather to grandson, is celebrated throughout the Pacific, honoring the host of that culture, Samoa. We have a very talented performer coming up. Not only is he that talented fire knife or sivafi performer, sharing that gift that he has, but he is also a producer of an annual fire knife competition every year. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome to the stage, Hualalai!
Attached to the blade are two sections that help
promote the fire. It is said that the fire was added here in the 1950s to this art. Once again, hualalai! Woo! Was that exciting? I'm always proud to say that he was my student. Not in Siva Afi, but I was his vice principal many years ago. Once again, hualalai! Well, thank you, friends, for being our family this evening, for sharing this time with us. When we met you this evening, we exchanged a gift, and it was called Aloha. And it's important for me to tell you that that gift comes with a responsibility. See, it is my belief that Aloha is the key to peace, to world peace. And if everyone in this world knew the true essence of Aloha, there would be no wars, there would be no challenges, difficulties, because there's no room for that when Aloha is imbuing the world. We send you off this evening with great aloha, and hopefully you can share that gift to your family and friends, even your work friends. Share it with everyone. Tell them the story of aloha. And maybe one day come back and let's exchange that aloha once again. We leave you this evening with a song celebrating that great value, aloha. It's called Aloha Oe, written by Her Majesty Queen Liliuokalani. It was said that the Queen remembered a time where she transferred from one side of the island to the other in a carriage. She saw two lovers in their final embrace. She captured that moment down and eventually composed a song that would remain an eminent reminder of what the true essence of aloha is. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we present to you our cast of Aha'aina and Tihati celebrating 53 years of Hawaiian and Polynesian performing arts and productions. In the spirit of our ancestors who walked these shores, many generations before we exchange with you our aloha. In the spirit and talents of our beach boys and lovely hula maidens, we extend to you our aloha. And especially for those fighting for peace throughout the world, those who send their peace through the arts like hula, we send our aloha to all of you. And never forgetting, of course, our cousins of the South Pacific, we learned that gift that we share with you this day. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you our soloist, the lovely Maluhia, the vocal soloist, Kili Ileolani, and once again, our Siva Afi performer, Hualalai. Continue to put your hands together for our royal guard. And of course, those gentlemen who have kept you entertained all evening, the wonderful, talented Tihati serenaders. And friends, let's not forget our banquet staff and also our bartenders and the hosts, all of our family of banquet. And of course, lastly, our lightman and soundman, Skip and Kavika. And I am your host, your storyteller, Haila Wafarden. Kim Mahalaluya Kuni Makuya Okua Polo. Ahi Kumana Makupono Kumakukau Makana Kikai Mekikai. Kialoha no, Kialoha no, Mahalo. Once again, aloha to our family from Texas, Momo's family. God bless you all.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, and Hana. Oh, you're not the old. Baby, oh, Hana. Oh, Nico,